Welcome to another episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nonsense. My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy from Afar, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Mr. FPL champion Chuck Bailey and super producer Ian Stimpson. How's it going, boys?
It's actually Dr. FPL champion MBE. Chuck Bailey, thank you very much.
I don't know, watch out with a title like that. The Daily Mail might start going after you for buying houses that are totally reasonably affordable.
No, because I'm white, so they won't do that.
Oh, right.
I'll be lauded as some sort of man of the people, saviour, hero, captain, leader, legend.
And wise beyond your years for investing in your future.
I mean, if I was black and bought anything other than Sainsbury's budget items, then woe betide what could fall upon me. Leave fucking Marcus Rashford alone, you fucking dicks.
Yeah, yep.
Because I know you all listening. That's where you all get. This is all where you get your content and your ideas. Mail,
nameless Daily Mail journalists that pop up all
Daily
the time.
Fail.
There was that terrible side by side that showed them ripping Raheem Sterling for the houses that he'd bought and how bling they were, and then another article ripping him for taking a 80 quid EasyJet flight. It's like, what the fuck do you want? Which, what do you want? To spend money or not?
Neither. Just they want him to not be famous. Like, that's all.
Yeah, we all know what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, should we compare their abuse to Marcus Rashford to their silence at the fact that their owner, who is worth £900 million, doesn't pay tax in this country?
Nah, we don't talk about.
We don't talk about that.
You just don't need to talk about that. It's fine.
Nah,
that's weird. He'd be a billionaire in the US, but he's not in the UK.
That's money exchange.
Currency.
I think he's still getting by, I think.
Yeah.
Still
you think he claims the title? He's like, oh, I'm a billionaire. And it's like, are you though? Because you're not from the US. Like, his rich friend parties, people are like, nah, he's not a real billionaire. That guy's a fucking pretender. Look at him.
Oh dear, those parties sound fucking atrocious.
Hey, I'd go. But I'd probably be surfing cocktails.
Oh, jeez.
Oh boy. Enjoying the international break? You've been watching England duty or anything? Any kind of anything?
Nope.
Didn't Scotland or somebody small do a thing recently? Scotland, right? Because was it Wales?
Did Wales qualify? Question mark. I don't know. I know Scotland did qualify for the first tournament since insert last tournament here. 96, 98. Probably the World Cup 98.
98, I think, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's nice.
Yeah, suddenly apparently my Twitter was full of Scottish people I didn't know existed. Suddenly chirping up.
All right, well, it is an international break episode, so we thought we'd do something a little bit special for you guys, or a little bit less work for us, and that is called a Mailbag episode, where we collect all the listener questions that we like and have been disappointingly not addressing week by week because we keep running out of time as we get to the end of episodes, so we thought we'd come back and interact with the listeners a bit, so... No news, no Premier League, no nothing, just
Nothing's happened.
Yeah, absolutely, nothing at all. Well, the PS5 came out, and I've been locked in a room for several days doing nothing but that. This is my first break. I haven't slept or eaten since Friday? Thursday? I don't know. What is time anymore? I don't know. But let's get to it. Ian, you're going to take the lead on this one, so take it away.
Yeah, let's pool all the questions that we've got, as you say, and we'll start with someone who... When we did our very first Mailbag episode, I think, we got a big, long, embarrassing story from Darren Anthony Hoy, who we know, of course, as Emu Planes. Go and check that episode out if you want to see the backstory there. But Darren's asked us a football question and says, diving, do we think it's better or worse post-VAR? In our VAR world that we live in now, has diving been made better or worse?
Are we
now,
saying
when
the
he
quality
says better...
of dives? As in, are the players now better at the art of diving, or is the analysis and prevention of diving better? I'm very much trying to pick a lane here.
My, how the turntables. Chuck's the one asking caveats this time, and I'm just kicking back waiting to answer the question. Oh, this is quite delightful.
Yeah, the problem is what will be edited out there is where you went, very first of all, that you went to say, now, this, and I just spoke right over you. So
yeah, that's great. Beat me to the punch then. I don't know. Either way, I'm still I'm not the caveat one on this one.
Get into it, at least make it funny. Rather than just, you with your classifications, wanting to write a spreadsheet over one question.
Now, I have been collecting data on diving, pre and post VAR, and the expected... No, I'm kidding. I don't think it's really changed that much. Do you guys feel like it's changed radically?
No, I don't. I feel like it's about the same. I don't think anyone's... I mean, it's still ultimately a referee looking at VAR. It's not like a robot is making an assumption on diving or not. It's still a referee. You can still con them. They're just getting a bit more time to look at it. I don't think it's... referees have this thing, I feel like, where contact is a way that they can get out of making a decision about a proper, making a proper decision about whether something's a foul or not. If there's contact, they seem to feel like they can award the foul, and it's absolutely, there won't be any comeback on that. I don't think it's got any worse or better that I can think of, to be honest. You still see, I think Salah recently threw himself down pretty badly in the penalty area, and because there was contact, he got the penalty, even though it went to VAR, obviously, because they all go to VAR. But, I don't know. I don't think it's any different, to be honest.
No, I mean, so far this season, there hasn't been one caution for simulation or diving. Now, that's not to say that it hasn't happened, but, that's...
Not one, blimey. Okay.
That's a good stat, actually. Very nice. Yeah, I'm jealous of
are?
that. Yeah, I also don't feel like it's changed. People aren't any better or worse at it. I don't really think it's happening more or less. Nor do I think the incentives have changed. Like, I still am all for diving. Like, the way that the game is refereed. Yeah, I know. Surprise, surprise, surprise. The way the game is refereed, if you don't go down the moment there's even a little bit of contact, you're not getting any kind of call. Like, there are many, many, many times where players get very obviously fouled. They try to stay on their feet. They get a really half-chance bad shot off when they're off balance, and then nothing, right? So, like, it's in the player's interest. If you don't go down, you're not getting that call. So why wouldn't they go down? Like, always go down. Always go down, and you might get the call.
But I think that's the difference the problem there is I don't see that as diving. I see that as going down under contact. Whereas diving, I see when you're, in my head, it's making the action, as in going down before any contact has happened or in the absence of contact.
Like preempting, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
like you do see some players, and you can tell from their body distribution and whatever, that like they're already on their way down and then they get touched. Like that's to me is a dive. Whereas I think you're exactly right, Oscar. I think it is mad, the fact that if you do actually want to get anything, you do need to go down. But it's when you have the Mo Salah, deliberately doing stutter steps constantly and then flinging your arms back like you've just been shot by a sniper and all those kind of things. Jack Grealish does as well quite often, overreacts with touches and those kind of things. It's a bit like, come on now. But there hasn't been any bookings for it this year. I don't think so.
Interesting. So do you think that dives and fouls are mutually exclusive? Like, you can't dive on a foul? Like, if you're fouled, then it is, by definition, no longer a dive?
Yeah, I don't think so. Because I think...
Interesting.
Because to me, a dive happens before the foul.
Okay, so what if you get fouled, you take 2 more steps, and then you launch yourself like you're diving into a swimming pool to try to earn the foul after you realize that you don't actually have an advantage? Is that a dive?
Yeah, because you're not going down under the contact.
But that's after the foul, right? So, it's not a timing thing necessarily.
But that's like if you're in control of the ball or momentum, like you have in the NFL, like you have to have taken 2 steps with the ball completely in your control to be counted as inbounds, for example. But if you get kicked in the ankle, let's say your right leg is coming through, you then plant that right leg perfectly fine. You then plant your left leg perfectly fine and not going down, and then you go sideways.
You're separating the two acts.
That's then 2 things. There's a foul and there's a dive there.
Interesting. So, because to me, diving is just like whenever you exaggerate or instigate your falling to the ground, right? So, if I'm not actually off balance and then I really throw myself down, to me, that's what a dive is. I don't think it necessarily matters whether you got touched or whether it's before or after. If you are part of the forces at work that are getting you to the ground, then you are diving, to me, at least. Ian, where do you stand on this? I'm very curious now.
Well, my main thing is that I enjoy your honesty, Oscar, of just going, you should just always dive, definitely.
Fuck yeah.
And I get it, because it's like sort of game theory-wise,
Let's play on water. Can you dive in water polo?
I don't know.
Only at the beginning of the game. How do you think they start?
Not particularly au fait with the rules.
You can't really roll around on the floor in water polo because you'll just drown, wouldn't you? You can't exaggerate. I'm drowning! That's how bad the foul was! I can't swim anymore! Oh.
Are there fouls in water polo? I'm assuming they are. I've never seen water polo a single time in my life, but
no idea.
I can't imagine you can like headlock someone and put them underneath the water and then be like, no, that's totally fair play.
But I enjoy the fact that we just openly talk about the dark arts now, and it's fine. I mean, there's an FPL podcast called The Art of the Dive, and they sign off every episode with, and remember, you should dive. It's like, yeah.
Are they by any chance American?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, of course they are. Oh, love it. That's great.
It's a good podcast. But anyway, and like when you're watching England, and back in my day when Michael Owen was absolutely throwing himself around and earning penalties all the time, you fucking loved it, because when it's happening for your side, you're absolutely delighted with it. So yeah, I just enjoy that the dark arts have just become much more acceptable these days.
If you're Harry Kane or Jack Grealish, if you're Raheem Sterling or Wilfried Zaha, not so much. But
Yes.
that one doesn't really warrant that much analysis.
Not at all.
As to why.
Okay, let's move on then. Patreon, Tom Townley asks, who's going to be the first manager to go? So we're 9 game weeks in now, and no real whiff of any managers going.
I mean, it's got to be Ole, right? Like, how wildly underperforming both XG-wise and table-wise Man United are, given their talent and wealth levels, like... And he's shown no evidence whatsoever of being able to construct a system out of those players. Like, I feel like the back half of last season, he just kind of put the players where they normally like to play and let them do their own thing. I didn't feel like he had any sort of part in... There was no discernible tactics that were, like, clever that I could tell. Now, obviously, I'm not paying attention as much. Like, people could say the same thing about Lampard, but meanwhile, I'm like, no, Lampard's doing this, Lampard's doing that. So, like, there's that part of it. But I don't really feel like he's doing a good enough job, and I don't feel like he has any sort of momentum to keep the job either. It's not like he did a particularly good job other than like that, 5-game stretch when he first took over, and then a 5-game stretch in the season plus lockdown.
It's weird. I don't feel like there's any particular stir-ins that Ollie needs to go, though. Like among Man United fans who are usually quite vocal about these things, I don't think there's any big sort of thing for him to go.
Do you think that's because he's a club legend, or?
That obviously, that buys him some time, definitely. Like Frank Lampard would have an added amount of time, over anyone else, because you're going to have that sort of feelings of nostalgia for him. But I don't think there's much buzz about it. Yeah, I mean, if it carries on with Man United in the lower half of the table for much longer, then it will do. But I must admit, I hadn't really thought about him as a shout until you said it there. He's attempted to sort of solidify him lately by playing Fred and McTominay in front of the defence all the time instead of Pogba. Just leaving him out now.
Imagine picking McTominay over Pogba. Like, what the fuck?
This is the world we're living in.
That's a fireable offence right there. Like, I would like that's it.
The season 2018, Scott McTominay, player of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Jose's boy. Well, I mean, so what do you think, Chuck? Do you think Ole's a good shout, or do you think someone else?
Well, Ole's probably a good shout to be fired, yes. As a good shout as a manager, no. It's usually around this time, isn't it, that you get the first casualty, like the second international break. And I think the only thing probably Ole has going for him at the minute is that it's still quite truncated from the top of the table down to the bottom. Like, if you think about it, Man United, you're like, oh, absolute shit, been rubbish, not just by their standards, but just by standards. And they're 14th, but with a game in hand and they win that, they could go up to as high as 7th. There's quite a big goal swing. They'd have to win the next game, let's say 4-0, but then they'd be up where Everton are at 7th. So I think because it can be that in one game, Leeds, we've all said that Leeds have had a great start to the season. Well, they're in 15th now.
Yeah.
But again, that it's 10 points. You go from 18 to 10 down to from 1st to 15th. And then there's a bit of a jump down to Brighton, gutted. So I think that's kind of giving a stay of execution for Ole. And who's going to take over it at the minute? Who's most of the really good managers that are worth their salt can clearly see what the issues are at Man United, and it's if you're not going to have that support and the sporting director and those kind of things in for you, then it's just kind of a losing battle that anyone would face there. I think Ole is out of his depth, and it's the quality of players that they do have which is carrying through, but it's just a bit of a mess with the disciplinary kind of things, with Maguire going off and punching people in Greece, Aaron Wan-Bissaka being told, no, you can't go on holiday to Dubai, and going to Dubai and then having to isolate at the start of the season, and just...
Oh, really? Blimey, I didn't know that.
And then, the arguments between Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire saying he's not a captain, then he does become a captain, and Fernandes is very hot and cold. I think, Oscar, you actually put it quite well last week, is that because of the ridiculously of his things, the way he plays, like, he's always going to be that way. He's either going to do nothing or he's going to score worldies and obviously get penalties. But I think it's more probably further down the table. I think probably, even though there are teams below them, I think probably Bilic is going to be first to go from West Brom, because they're awful. Just awful. Yeah. Lost to Fulham. Says it already, doesn't it?
Are they in the Prem?
Oh, come on. Yes, they were the other W team that came up.
Gotcha. Actually, speaking of W teams, do we not think Wolves are they odds-on favorites? Who do the bookies have? Because Wolves fire everybody every 2 weeks, so like...
What?
Wait, is that Wolves? No, that's Watford.
That's Watford, and then
Damn
in the
it!
Championship.
I literally confused W teams again.
Oh my god!
First as a joke, then in genuine.
You're going to say they've had the same manager for 4 years.
Yeah.
Really good
I was thinking of
structure.
Watford.
Fantastically well-run club.
That is pretty perfect that I pretend to confuse two W teams and then 2 seconds later actually confuse two W teams.
That's very on brand for you, yeah.
Oh boy.
The only thing I think that probably saves Bilic is just a complete lack of expectation for West Brom. I mean, they knew where they were going to be. I think that sort of saves him. I can't see him. He is the bookie's favourite, I imagine. Just by Warren.
He's funny enough, without even intending it, we've just discussed the two bookies' favourites, which are Solskjaer and Bilic at 2-1.
Okay.
And then kind of around that, obviously below them, you've got Sheffield United and Burnley. But
see, I think Wilder's my shout.
Oh well, I don't think Wilder gets sacked or whatever. I think if they were to go down, they'd be happy to go down with Wilder.
Oh, you reckon?
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Burnley would sack Dyche, but I think Dyche would leave Burnley.
Yeah, that's possible, yeah.
For Arsenal, Dyche at Arsenal could be interesting, actually.
Yeah?
Given the players that they have, they could make a system out of that. Genuinely. I'm not even kidding. There could be something there.
Well, it was very much about, Arsenal sorting out their defensive liabilities, and then, Aston Villa Via'd. I enjoyed that at the end of last week's pod. Thanks, guys. But yeah, Fulham, I think, again, same as Sheffield United, I think Fulham would be happy to go down with Scott Parker.
Yeah.
Graham Potter is you could say Brighton have been unlucky, fine. They're still unlucky. They were unlucky after 6 game weeks. They're now unlucky after 8 game weeks. You know what I mean?
I don't buy into that narrative. I think
the sample sizes are getting big. Rightly, Oscar contested it. That it was a small sample, but as the sample gets bigger and the results don't really change. So
yeah, that's how Watford went down. They had very good underlying performances through the first 12 or 13 game weeks. But they couldn't fucking buy a win. They had no luck at all. And then obviously the team spirit changes, the locker room, the psychology of it.
Manager gets fired every 2 minutes.
Yeah, also that.
Yeah, Brighton have bright spots like Lamptey and Trossard. But I just think when you watch them, I still think most times you think, they were lucky to escape with a point there or whatever. It doesn't convince me at all. I know they're sort of... XG and expected points are probably higher than where they are, but I've not been convinced by Brighton at all. I don't buy into this narrative at all.
And it's mad that Graham Potter is at 33-1 to be fired, alongside Mourinho, Bielsa, Nuno Espirito Santo, and Roy Hodgson.
So pretty safe, yeah.
So that's a bit strange.
Ian, who you got?
I would say Wilder. I'll go against what Chuck said there of that they'd be happy to go down with him. I think expectations were raised massively by last season and are not being paid off this season. So, I can just see them being trigger happy enough to go, we need to make a change to make sure we stay in the division, because last season will have really whetted their appetite for Premier League football.
Oh, there you go then. We picked the 3 favourites.
I do. Right. Sam Danby says, assuming Euro 21 goes ahead. You've got it wrong there, Sam. It's Euro 2020. It's the branding is in. It's Euro 2020.
Yeah.
Who's winning? How are England going to do? And will there be fans?
I can answer how England are going to do. They're going to get knocked out in the quarterfinals on penalty kicks, probably.
Extra time. Thank you. Who's in Euro 2020?
Some European teams.
Oh, some.
Yeah.
Not all of them?
Scotland.
Scotland, at least. Yeah, we do know that one.
North Macedonia.
I'll start, actually.
Didn't even
I'm
know
going to
that
throw...
was a country.
Chuck has started. He said North Macedonia. He's in.
I mean, obviously, homerism here, but I do also have to point out, like, soccer-wise, Germany have to be one of the strongest teams going in. Like, they are not at all the same squad that went to the World Cup in 2018. They have phased out a lot of the older players, and brought in a lot of lesser name players that are just genuinely like really good. And so when you look at their front 6 in a similar sort of setup as Chelsea, I mean, there's Werner and Havertz, obviously, but then they have Serge Gnabry, Leroy Sané, Joshua Kimmich, who's maybe the best central mid in the world right now. One of, certainly. I think he's better than Kante, which is like insane to have said a couple of years ago. Kroos is still there. Goretzka is there. Like, all of those guys are, other than Thomas Muller, who I didn't even say, but obviously he's one of the best players in the world. Like, they're all 25 or lower. So this German team is, like, young, it's fast and exciting. It's, like, part of the reason I think why Chelsea brought so many Germans is because, like, this is insane to say, but they're almost like a sleeper pick because of how bad they were at the World Cup. Like, people are downplaying Germans right now, and there are a lot of
they were relegated. In
yes,
the
from the
Nations League.
other thing that who won that, by the way? Like, someone hilarious, right?
Portugal won the Nations League and they're the reigning Euro champions.
Yeah, aren't they about to get relegated from the... Anyway.
I mean, what do you want from me, mate?
Nothing. Sorry.
But yeah, I think people are sleeping on Germany. I think there's a lot of really good attacking young players who are super, super talented. So that's my pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really out there, is it?
He doesn't have to
Not
pick
particularly, but I think
crazy.
in this moment of time, it's a little bit more out there than usual, let's say.
In the same way that Belgium were dark horses for every tournament since 2014.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
That's who you've got to pick, haven't you, as a sort of podcaster who doesn't know what he's talking about? Well, Belgium. No, people are sleeping on Belgium. No one's been sleeping on Belgium for fucking years. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I mean, having said all that, I think I did nominate them for Dark Horse when we did the World Cup podcast. All them years ago.
That sounds about right.
Seems like the sort of thing I'd do. But yeah, they beat England the other day, so they win Europe. Job done. There you go.
I'm going to say Netherlands.
You're looking at the bookies right now, just trying to do it.
No, I'm looking at the list of teams that qualified.
Okay.
Netherlands. That does feel like a bit more of a sleeper pick.
Yeah. I have no knowledge to base that off of.
Edgar Davids was good, wasn't he?
Edgar Davids.
They have at least one player I've heard of, Van de Beek, right? Is he Dutch? I'm assuming he is with a name like that.
Donny Van de Beek, yeah.
I assume so.
I also assume. Although Pulisic I would have assumed was like Croatian, so who knows if you just read the names.
That's true.
Anyway, Ian, Ian, are you going to say England here? Gotta stick with the
I
home
am
team?
saying Belgium. I'm genuinely saying Belgium.
Oh, okay.
that was entirely genuine. Before, it was preceded by a rant about how people always pick Belgium, but yeah, Belgium.
Yeah, I mean, Lukaku's playing out of his mind since leaving Man United. They sorted out his nutrition. I know he came out and was like, "Yo, Man United doesn't know what the fuck they're doing."
Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah.
But he's in the best shape of his life. He's scoring goals left and right. He's looking really, really good over in Italy. His stats are crazy. So that's not a bad shout. Obviously, Eden Hazard is Eden Hazard, even if he hasn't been Eden Hazard for the last year or so.
Has Hazard been Hazard or hasn't he? That's a good
He
vocal
has
warm-up.
not been Hazard.
Has Hazard been Hazard or hasn't he?
To enjoy your vocal warm-ups, Chuck. So apart from so there was who's winning? How are England going to do? I suppose we've covered that in the
Knocked out quarter-final.
yeah.
Extra time.
Will there be fans? I mean,
No.
Is it possible to
I
predict
hope not.
this?
Honestly, really hope not. Unless I either hope a lot because that means everything is fixed, or I really hope not because that means that people are really dumb. Like, there's no middle ground.
You might need your vaccine passport to get tickets. Maybe I don't know.
Just get injected as you walk in the stadium.
Exactly. I think there probably will be fans. I think they're gonna do whatever they can to get people into these games to make it saleable.
It is funny that this was meant to be the Euros that was hosted in like 12 different countries.
Yeah, I mean it's just the worst.
Are they still doing that?
I am quickly Googling.
They must. I'm sure they are still.
Yeah, there must be like some sort of legally binding contract that those stadiums in those countries like are going to get money from it,
Yeah,
and like
they just have to pay them anyway, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
right.
I think they're just going to be hoping beyond hope that the vaccine has been doled out to enough people that you can get.
You think they'll push it back
Stadiums
one
full
more
of
year? We'll
people.
be playing Euro 20 in 2022,
Oh, God.
6 months before the World Cup.
Time runs. Yeah, exactly. Time runs out at some point, doesn't it? I mean, you just have to call it a day at some point. But yeah, this tournament's going ahead, and I'm pretty convinced there'll be some fans at least in there. I mean, the other European leagues have been putting games on with sort of 20% full stadiums. You know, it has been happening even in European countries that have been going in and out of lockdown. So, I'm sure there'll be fans there. As bad a decision as that might be.
Yep, it still seems to be being held in 12 different countries.
There you go. So no home country advantage this time, huh? Or are 12 people going to make deep runs that you wouldn't expect?
Semi-finals and finals are at Wembley.
Oh, just saying.
It is coming home.
Coming home.
One way or another.
No, just logistics. Just logistics. It's coming home.
Unless they decide to change it because the UK is doing so poorly.
Brexit. Deported. Won't be able to get in. That's why Brexit happened. Because they were like, right, Euros, there'll be a pandemic. We'll delay it into 2021. Brexit will happen. No one will be allowed in the country. Host the games at Wembley. England win by 3-0 default. Forfeit.
Yeah. Just went by default, yeah. God, that is some Illuminati level planning that someone's gone to there. Jesus.
Yeah.
Can't see it. Can't see anyone at the FA being that smart.
No.
Okay, right. I think that's got the football ones out of the way.
Hooray!
Yay!
Finally.
Alex Sampson asks, dream holiday destination. New Zealand's looking pretty good.
That is genuinely my answer anyway, actually.
Yeah. It's not a bad one, is it?
Yeah,
Jeez.
I think it's not just current climate that's dictating that. That's actually a good one.
Yeah, it's like, obviously the Lord of the Rings connection. I want to go see the Hobbiton set. I want to go see the Edoras set, which they left up, all the like different places that they filmed in that. But yeah,
To Isengard.
Exactly. Yeah. We have a trip like sort of planned out, but like unknown when we will do, whether that's in 20 years or like next year, of New Zealand and Australia. Like
Just
we
don't
also
get
like
the t-shirts printed yet, okay? Just hold off on the t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's fine because if he just gets it printed 2021, it's fine because it's just postponed. The merchandise stays the same.
Yeah, but definitely Melbourne and New Zealand. Like, Dave, I'm coming your way. Got to visit. So prep your couch. But yeah, there's a bunch of podcasts that we like that are based out of Melbourne, and they do like live shows pretty regularly. So, and that's so far away that it does feel like a dream vacation. Like, I'll pop over to Europe, and it's like not that big of a deal. But like, that's so much flying to get from like the northeast of America to Australia, New Zealand. So it does feel like something that I probably won't be able to do for a long time, but
I don't understand how it can be in such a place that is so far to get to from everyone else in the world.
geography, innit?
Yeah, but it's just mad. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's so far away, so far away. If you live in Asia, it's still really far away.
Wherever you are, it's super far away.
Even in Australia, it's far away. There's bits in Australia where you're technically closer to space than you are to the next settlement. Like, this is
What a weird thing to know, dude. Like, what?
don't know how to process that.
Yeah.
Well, space is like 60 miles up.
Well, that's like, that reminds me, I saw on Twitter that Roberto Firmino and Sadio Mane grew up closer to each other than Mane and Salah, even though Mane and Salah are both from Africa.
Yeah, because Africa's fucking huge.
Africa's fucking huge, and Brazil's actually sticks out a lot, so it's not that many time zones away from the western edge of Africa. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It's because atlases distort your view because it doesn't work.
Yes.
So everything that's in the middle looks smaller than it is. But like Africa can fit China and India and I think like the whole USA and half of Europe in it. Maybe all of Europe. Maybe Australia. Who knows? It's always that classic with places like that you're like, oh, one day I'll go, one day. Because it's so far that you're like, it needs to be a big trip. Like it needs to be 2 weeks or whatever age you are, you might want to go travelling, etc. So you kind of think of all that part of the world in one go, and then because of that, you never end up going. So like, I'd love to, especially like watching various cookery programs and stuff now. Like, I'd love to visit like Southeast Asia and go to Japan and go to China and go to Australia and New Zealand. But it's the kind of place where you don't want to just pop over. Like, you would never just go for a week.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'd love that. I'd absolutely love. I think Southeast Asia just to be a bit different. Like I would like to go to New Zealand, and I do have some distant family over there that my sister visited once, and she
very distant. We just talked about that.
Yeah, geography. But I think like Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia,
good food.
that kind of.
Fuck with that.
Yeah, I've been watching Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix. And
what's that?
He is a guy who was the executive producer of Everybody Loves Raymond. Is that the show?
That was a show, yes.
Show? Yeah. That was a show, cool. And he's like a journalist, and he's super nerdy, like New Yorker. And he goes around and just eats food and just talks about food and all kinds of stuff. It's really, really good. And so it's making me want to go to these places more and just eat tons of ramen and banh mi and all kinds of shit. Just
that does sound good.
It's mostly food motivated. I think any trip that I would want to take to any part of the world.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's stay on that food theme then. Nate Whitten, producer Nate, thanks for
Girlfriend
your production.
Girlfriend
haver.
Job haver.
Yeah.
National Guardian.
Who asks for, and this is probably skewed towards Oscar, but there we go. Favourite Thanksgiving foods?
Ooh. So, okay. I didn't really like Thanksgiving food for a long time. Because full disrespect to my family, they're not good at cooking turkey. Like,
okay.
Full disclosure, not many people
no
can
one's
cook
good at cooking turkey.
Right.
No one really likes turkey, and turkey happens every year.
Turkey happens.
I was never the biggest fan of Thanksgiving. And then I started going to my in-laws. And holy shit, they know how to do Thanksgiving. That food is fucking amazing. Like, my father-in-law is just an amazing cook, and I didn't realize that Thanksgiving food could be that good. And so he makes like 2 or 3 different stuffings every year, and normally stuffing is just like a side dish, like not the main attraction at Thanksgiving, but his stuffings are like really creative, really, really delicious, go amazing with gravy or cranberry sauce or like whatever you want to put on it. He has like a different one for every different thing, and this guy's like a super, super good cook. So for me, having discovered that Thanksgiving foods can be delicious, I would say the stuffing at my father-in-law's Thanksgiving, specifically.
Nice. Does he makes like different ones? Does he make like Southern dressing?
I don't know what that is.
So that's like, it's like a friend of mine once made it and her dad made it. She's from Georgia, and she flew it over to me because she used to work for Delta Airlines. And she brought it for me.
Did it have its own seat, or?
Yeah, it was there. And it's basically like a stuffing almost, but you serve it as a proper dish. I imagine like when you say about the stuffings, that's kind of what they do. Like, it's big portions in like almost like a pot, like a tray bake almost, like in a big casserole dish. And so this is with, I believe it would be with cornmeal, so it's like similar to like a cornbread. All your spices, those kind of things, but with shredded chicken in there, and it's all cooked in bacon fat.
Oh my god!
Oh my!
And dude,
keep going, I'm nearly there.
literally just put it in the oven for a little bit and put like some cranberry sauce on that, and fuck, it's like one of the best things ever. And I think that's why, I don't know, like Thanksgiving and Christmas food is so good, because it's like the one time of year where everything should be like super indulgent. Like the secret to all cooking is salt and butter. Like that's just it. And so I think especially Thanksgiving, like there's butter and double heavy cream. It's Ian should celebrate Thanksgiving every year.
Yeah, absolutely. He'd be although I don't know if I'd trust him to roast a turkey or do anything in the oven really correctly.
He'll grill the shit out of it.
I've got a new oven that's got a thing called Turbo Grill on it. I was born to do it.
Oh my!
It's oven and grill at the same time to sort. God, I can't go wrong. Surely.
Well, yeah.
So
still good.
This is. I mean, I'm going to expose myself as a moron here, but never mind. So obviously, turkey dinner is something you have at Thanksgiving. Do you have turkey dinner at Christmas as well, in America?
Well, I don't do traditional American Christmas. We've talked about this. My family does Guatemalan Christmas, and then we go do Christmas morning at my in-laws. Mm-hmm. But that's just like the morning, so we have like a nice breakfast and stuff. But I think it's more of a ham traditionally. If
oh right, okay.
I think I don't know that for sure, but like Christmas ham in my head is a thing, as opposed to Christmas turkey. Like, we do turkey on Thanksgiving. I could be totally wrong. It also might vary a lot family to family. I don't know if there's like necessarily a traditional American Christmas meal, but to me, ham is more Christmas. Thanksgiving is turkey.
So it's would you say the one... I mean, I know you look forward to Christmas a lot, obviously, so kind of put that a bit aside. Which one would you say is bigger in terms of the country? Is it Thanksgiving or is it Christmas?
Oh, no, it's Christmas. It's very much Christmas. Thanksgiving is almost like fading away as the Christmas season extends further and further back to like soon it'll be September and it'll be Christmas season. Like,
and eventually it's going to meet up with Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thanksgiving is kind of going the way of the dinosaur. Not actually. It's still a very big holiday, but it is getting swallowed up by the Christmas season a little bit. So while Thanksgiving Day itself is a huge deal, like it feels like it's part of a bigger holiday season.
Is it the kickoff to the sort of Christmas season?
Oh, traditionally, yeah. Like they're like one of the big sort of traditions that we do in the U.S. is Macy's does a huge Thanksgiving Day parade in New York with like all the giant like inflatable Pokemon and whatever else, like high schools from all over the country, marching bands. Like it's like an hours long parade, and the very last person in the parade is Santa Claus.
Yeah, we've all seen Miracle on 34th Street. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah. So he goes from the parade straight into the Macy's, and he does his Christmas thing. Like that's officially the kickoff of the Christmas season is the Macy's Day Parade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
cool. Well, and along with that, Johnny Worthington asks, because this feels Thanksgiving-y to me, I might be wrong, but he asks, do you like pumpkin pie? Out of nowhere, just decides to
absolutely. Yeah, it's my favorite pie by far. Like I will buy a pumpkin pie and eat the whole thing for like lunch. Like not a problem. Like, absolutely. So I fucking love pumpkin pie.
It's sweet pumpkin pie, isn't it? It's not savoury.
No. It's you take, like, pumpkin paste. I forget what it's called. Like,
you take the
raw pumpkin, like...
You take the flesh of the pumpkin and blitz it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you just put a lot of, like, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger.
Oh, okay.
And you just bake it, and milk to make it, like, fluffier. Mm-hmm. And then you just bake it in the oven.
It'll go sweet naturally, but it's... Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's got almost the texture and consistency of, like, a cheesecake. But it's just pure pumpkin flavor with, like, spices and stuff. It's fucking delicious. Do you guys not have pumpkin pie over there?
Like, not really. It's not, like, a big thing, no.
No, like...
Interesting.
It exists here, but in the same way that, like, you know, you probably go somewhere specific to find it, or, like, well, obviously, we have pumpkins, but...
We do. Yeah.
I think, like, pumpkin pie and sweet potato pie, to me, they both just feel like cheating, because, like, it's like a vegetable / fruit. I don't know what a pumpkin might classify as.
Wait,
maybe fruit.
Is pumpkin a vegetable?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Damn it, I like a vegetable. This is not good.
It's a vegetable.
It's a well, does it...
It's a squash / gourd.
Gourd.
Well, you put that in my mind now. I went very, very clearly that it was a vegetable, and then I immediately
Hold on, I got
no idea.
Alexa, is pumpkin a vegetable?
Well, seeded vegetables, like pumpkin, are considered vegetables for culinary use. They are botanically fruits.
Ah.
Okay, so it's the old, like, do vegetables even exist? Technically, everything is a fruit,
That's not
but, like,
what
vegetables...
Alexa just said.
Wait. Do you not know this? Vegetables are only, like, a culinary thing, but, like, fruits are the, like, biological thing. They're all fruits.
But not everything... everything is fruit. No.
Well, no, there's also
There-
meat and cheese.
Yeah, well done. But no, just because something is a vegetable doesn't mean it is a fruit.
Yes, that's true.
It could be a root or something. That's not a fruit. That's not the same.
Yes, correct.
Anyway. But no, but they're delicious. And yeah, so it's like, well, pumpkin spice has become a huge thing over here. And I'd say bigger and bigger and more public in the last 3, 4, 5 years, maybe. Like all the Starbucks red cups and that kind of thing happening over here, I think has become a lot bigger here. So I think I wouldn't put it past it becoming more of a thing here, that pumpkin pies come in at like a Christmas time or something.
Well, I hope so. They sound delicious.
As kind of the Americanisms and whatever. And
and that is definitely something that gets served at Thanksgiving dinner in most houses, I would say. Is like you have your pumpkin pie for dessert.
Nice.
After eating 20 pounds of food for 3 hours straight, you're like, you know what we need? A pie.
Come on, dessert goes into a different stomach. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that.
It's fine.
My mum's been saying that since I was like a tiny child. Saying, "Oh, you got 2 stomachs."
Yep, one for dessert.
Yeah.
Dave Mateo asks, if you were president and had to have a celebrity as a vice president, who would you pick? So it can't be a politician. It has to be someone else. Who would you pick as your vice president? Congratulations, Oscar, by the way.
Thanks. I did not win the election. I'm not the vice president, but
I won the
appreciate the congratulations nonetheless.
I won it! I won!
Just claim it.
Yeah. Chuck, who you got? I want to hear the Brits' answers to this.
I mean, it's one of two. I mean, it's either The Rock or it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger's disqualified because he's not a natural-born citizen. You have to have been
Neither
born
am
in the US.
You just assumed it was president of the USA. I mean, it could be, we could become a republic and get rid of the monarchy and establish a presidency. Chuck for president.
Yeah, I won.
Yeah,
I think it's The Rock, isn't it? That's the logical thing in like 15, 20 years. He runs and wins it. If we're going by celebrity, non-politician, who doesn't love him?
No one in their right mind. He's super positive.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's just like a great, or at least his persona is that of a great person who like goes around helping people and like giving to charity and just affable
he's
and
got
like
that. He's fucking huge. He's a good...
Also that, although... Have you seen the picture of him standing next to Shaq and Charles Barkley? He looks like a child next to NBA players. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is bad.
He plays like the biggest fucking action star in every movie that he's in. He's like a foot taller than Vin Diesel. He's like, and then you stand him next to 2 NBA players, former NBA players, and you're like, oh my god, you're tiny.
Tiny man.
But like, he's the biggest wrestler of all time, so all the rednecks and shit would love him.
True.
Yes, true, actually, yeah.
What about you, Ian? Who you got?
Marcus Rashford.
Oh, shit. I'd like to
That's a good answer.
Change my answer.
He's so fully into the politics at the minute.
But he's better at it without even doing it.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. He's without even trying. He seems to be better at it than most Conservative MPs. All of them, the ones who argued with him about the sort of free school meal thing, and then 2 weeks later on a sort of Friday night, Boris very quietly goes, "Oh yeah, that free school meal thing, we'll do that." Like, imagine how you'd feel if you were one of those Conservative MPs who'd been arguing with him on Twitter, and then your boss just 2 weeks later goes, "Oh no, Marcus Rashford was right, let's do that," and you're left. You've been arguing against feeding kids, and then you have to go, "Oh no, I was for feeding kids all along. Don't worry about the bit where I voted against it. No, I was for it, definitely."
Look, if the last 4 years have taught us anything, it's that the truth has no part to play whatsoever, and facts have no part to play whatsoever in politics. It's just whatever you want. Like,
to get massively sidetracked by it, and we literally started this podcast saying we'd never talk about politics beforehand.
That is like the one rule we had.
5 minutes before, but like, I don't get it. Like, politics, the whole thing is just like, oh, you put on one thing and like just make it happen, and do you agree, and blah 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 blah. But like, it's such an easy win, clearly, to get millions of people on your side just to go, you know what, yeah, let's just keep feeding kids. Or what we could do is come out and go, well, they shouldn't have had so many kids in the first place. Like,
it's mad.
Yeah, right, okay, mate. But you know how you won an election before? Like, you need to win another one.
Yeah,
in like a few years.
It just shows how bizarrely ideologically driven it was. Just Yes. That's
Well,
so
yeah, and then
odd.
over here they're like, you shouldn't have so many kids if you're going to have to ask for welfare and stuff. But then at the same time, they're like, but you're not allowed to not have kids if you are on the way to having a kid, aka abortions, right? Like, they're like, no abortions, but stop having kids also that you can't afford. And it's like, well...
Yeah.
So
let's punish the completely blameless kid for that.
Exactly, yeah. Also that, like, this kid exists. They're born. Feed them, please.
Not their fault. Oh, my God.
It's not my fault I was born either, please. I wish I could go back. Take me back!
I think your mum might have some concerns.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, who would you pick then, Oscar?
Well, I have to go with a person of color, obviously. Like, we've had more than enough fucking white people in this position, whether president or vice president. I also think it'd be good to have a woman.
Notice that he let us go first and then said that. Like, oh, dear.
Yeah, I know.
Well, The Rock is a person of color, and so is Marcus Rashford, so you guys kind of ended up there anyway.
Yeah, true.
This is true.
There you go. So I just tried to think about, like, what women of color do I know would be, like, at all good at the job? And there is someone who, like, runs a billion-dollar empire, is a kind and generous person who, like, has compassion for other humans, and is super wicked smart. And so I'm going to go with Oprah Winfrey, because she is just, like, the best. Although I didn't like her growing up for stupid reasons. My mom used to watch Oprah, and she would always, like, get really crazy ideas in her head from watching Oprah. So, like, the most crystallized version of that is there was an episode where, like, some teenager was driving with the window open, and there was a freak accident where they ran over, like, a downed power line, and the fucking power line got tangled in the car, got whipped up through the open window, and, like, electrocuted the kid and killed him. It's just, like, the most freak accident ever. And my mom was like, you're not allowed to have the window open in the car anymore.
That's amazing.
I was like, are you fucking crazy, lady? Like, that's never going to happen anywhere else ever again. But so she used to get all worked up from Oprah. But, like, Oprah herself, like, out of her own pocket, she just gave everyone in her audience a car that one time because she could, because it would make them happy. Like, just a good person who also is, like, incredibly savvy and well organized. So, sorry, was that too serious of an answer?
No, not at all. I'm just thinking those are three wildly different presidential tickets that we're all running on.
Imagine if they were just together.
Yeah.
But it just, like, just good people. Just be good, but just don't be a prick.
You have to consult
that is really
you have to consult the Council of Elders made up of Marcus Rashford, Oprah Winfrey, and The Rock. It's just a bizarre situation.
Imagine the pressure going into that room.
Yeah.
I do love the idea of a non-American. I kind of ruled that out because of, like, the Constitution and stuff, but getting an outside perspective on this broken-ass country would be good. Is Angela Merkel busy? She's fucking amazing. I love that
She's
woman.
smart.
She's very smart. Yeah.
Right, let's go with Tom Townley again, asking, when is it socially acceptable to put a Christmas tree up? And what should the punishment be for people who think the answer is November?
Hang on, so is he saying that October is in then, and that's fine?
Yeah, October's in.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say...
go big or go home.
Yeah, I would say it's your house, do what the fuck you want.
I wonder whether Tom was expecting more support, but I don't think he's going to get it from us three.
Yeah, I mean, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't think that we can, like, start decorating this early, like, you're listening to the wrong podcast, bud. And, like, don't stop being a Patreon. We love you. But, like, I've been listening to the Mop Christmas music playlist for, like, weeks already, and it's November 17 at the time of recording. And especially this year, like, I'm not going to Thanksgiving at home. Like, I'm probably just gonna have, like, mac and cheese or Chinese food for Thanksgiving. Like, I'm not gonna fucking cook a turkey for me and Emily at home. Like, we're just not doing Thanksgiving this year, so I'm, like, fully diving in on Christmas to replace that hole in my heart. But honestly, I think, like, whenever you want, like, it's your fucking house, like Chuck said. Like, just fucking decorate.
This year especially, people get a free pass. Usually I'd be a bit more on Tom's side about it, because we don't generally put stuff up until December, because I just get bored of the Christmas trees and everything. So certainly, once Christmas is out of the way, we don't leave them up. Some people leave stuff up till January the 6th or whatever, and we're definitely not like that. Once Christmas is done, the fucking Christmas come down starts, and I just want to sort of get the house back to normal. But yeah, this year I think people get a pass. I'm fine with it. There's loads of houses around me with Christmas decorations up, and I'm perfectly happy with it.
Yeah, we meant to decorate last weekend, but then the PS5 came and it was like, we're not decorating anymore.
Everything else in life went on the back burner.
Exactly. Thank God it was an international break. Otherwise, I would have been like, hey guys, ready to record the pod. Didn't watch a single thing. But here's an embarrassing thing. You talk about taking them down quickly. When lockdown started, I hadn't taken down our Christmas decorations.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, it was like making me happy to have them around. I don't know. I just kept putting it off. And then we hit March and coronavirus was happening. And I was like, we should leave this up. It'll brighten up the apartment for a little while longer. So
I love the idea that you're just, you haven't gone out a lot because of concerns with your health. So you are just sat in your own little perpetual Christmas bubble.
Yeah.
It's like all through lockdown. I've got visions of you just sort of singing Christmas songs for the last 8 months.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And thank God Emily indulges me. She's a good egg, that one. So, what about you guys, Chuck? Where are you at on this?
Well, we've not decorated anything at the minute, but I'm not against it. I don't mind. I think it's more that people, like you said earlier with the Thanksgiving stuff, is that Christmas starts earlier and earlier and earlier each year. But I think for me, I worked in restaurants, so Christmas, we start to take the bulk of Christmas bookings. It starts to ramp up usually just after the August bank holiday, which is the last weekend in August. That's when you start to. That's when it kind of starts to. You get your
Plan
first big ones.
But
you get more and more people booking in February, March, April, May. Each year, it goes up and up and up. So, for me, it's just it's usually Halloween.
You're
out
in
the way.
perpetual
Halloween,
Christmas as well, then.
Yeah, Halloween irritates me more than Christmas because I like Christmas. I'm not bothered about Halloween at all, and so that one is just I don't understand why, especially this year, that they're still trying to push Christmas and just be Halloween, sorry. And kids should go round to other people's houses. No. No. First of all, you shouldn't encourage kids to take sweets off adults for one day a year anyway, because it lulls them into a false sense of security. And second of all, it's a pandemic, man. I don't care if you're wearing a ghost mask. Get away from my house.
I know what you mean. And I mean, Halloween certainly trick-or-treating and Halloween was nowhere near as big as it is now when I was a kid. You just didn't, I wasn't missing out by not going trick-or-treating. No one really did. And then it's really ramped up in the last sort of 10 years or so. But I've sort of moved on to a new estate, and they did something quite good in that they... the sales office for the sort of builders of the houses here, they acted as a central point of a sweet drop-off where you could drop off your sweets and they'd be left alone for a week. So to take away any chance of any virus being passed on or whatever. So that you could drop off sweets there, and then kids could sign up, or the parents could sign up on Facebook, and people would say that they'd decorated their houses and they'd put them on a trail. So as you could get a map of the sort of estate on Facebook and go around the different houses, and then at the end they would give you the bagged up sweets that had been left for a week, so had hopefully not had any virus on them. And, it was quite good because we went around the estate, and there was one bit that was look down there. It looks like someone's projecting something onto another house. And we went up there, and it was a massive projection of Pennywise the Clown. And I was like, I'm not sure this is fun anymore. I take my 10-year-old. And then Kel was like, and started taking a picture of it. And as she's taking a picture, Finley just tapped me and pointed out to me 2 steps behind Kelly, there was a bloke in a hockey mask sat down on his drive that was just slowly standing up. And I just went, Kel... Then a fucking zombie comes round the corner. These guys have put some fucking effort into it, and Finley just looks at me and said, "Can we go back to our side of the estate now?" I was just yeah, come on, let's go.
We don't go
there
over
was
that way
people
anymore.
dressed as clowns, dead bodies and stuff, and you'd walk past and they'd sort of get up. People had put a hell of a lot of effort in, and it was actually quite fun, I must admit. But different to trick or treating, which obviously couldn't happen this year. So yeah, it was quite fun around here, but. It's not something we did when I was a kid, so yeah.
My brother bought some PVC pipe, the plastic plumbing pipe that people use. and he built a like slide for candy from his front door down to like halfway down the like little path
Right.
that goes up to his house. So when kids were coming for trick-or-treating, he would just stick a candy bar in the PVC pipe and it would like slide right down and then pop out the other end and the kids could get the candy that way and he didn't have to like interact with anyone. I was like, oh, that's really clever. I'm glad I'm like being safe but still giving candy out to strangers. Like that's pretty nice.
The spirit of Halloween.
So October 31st, right? Christmas.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah.
November 1st.
Perfect.
And last question to Johnny Worthington. Who is each of your favourite comedians? His is Richard Herring because he does cock jokes and even wrote a book about it. Yeah, Richard Herring's Talking Cock is a good book. It's genuinely brilliant.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's a good choice there. Richard Herring is a good comedian. He did a Hitler moustache tour where he grew a Hitler moustache to see how the reaction would be in his day-to-day life, and then went on tour with a comedy show sort of surrounded by it. And yeah, when he played Peterborough, which, you know, if you're a sort of liberal person living in Peterborough, it can be a little bit tricky sometimes because there's a big sort of immigrant population that the natives kick against sometimes. And he said his show had never been better received than in Peterborough because we were just like seeing a comedian who wasn't a sort of right-wing scumbag. So it was nice. Although that comedian who wasn't a right-wing scumbag currently had a Hitler moustache on, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, sure.
It was an experiment, but it was good.
Of the British comedians, I would go with James Acaster, although I have to admit I'm not particularly familiar with like the British comedy scene.
Yeah.
And there are very separate comedy scenes. Like there's a lot of American stand-ups that I would imagine you guys don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And there's a ton of British stand-ups that I don't know. But of the ones that I've come across, definitely in the England, it's James Acaster. He's very weird and very funny.
Yeah, he is great. Yeah, I saw him play Peterborough about a year ago. And he's always had a funny relationship with Peterborough. One, because he comes from a town nearby called Kettering. And he on one of his tours, he had a whole routine about how a joke in Peterborough had completely fallen flat and just not done. And he made a whole routine out of it. And then, yeah, when he played Peterborough recently, he sort of, a lot of his show was had a sort of Brexit tinge to it. And then there was one guy in the audience who had voted leave for Brexit, and it just changed the whole atmosphere. But he dealt with it so well. And for the second half, his show pretty much went out the window, and he was just talking to this one bloke in the audience and sort of really making a bit of an example of him. And
nice.
It was so good. The atmosphere. You Chuck, you probably know, like Stuart Lee, like deliberately creates an atmosphere in the room so as he can sort of kick against it or whatever, and he'll do that quite a lot. Well, James Acaster, this sort of just naturally happened at Peterborough, and it was really good. He dealt with it so well, and it was such a good show. What was it called? I can't remember. The show was called Cold Lasagna Hate Life or something. Really weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very, very odd. But yeah, James Acaster is definitely one of our best. Yeah, absolutely.
Chuck, where are you at on this?
Just trying to think, because most of the time, like I watch, there's a lot of the comedians that have similar agents and those kind of things, so they're on rotation of a lot of the shows together.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy Dane Baptiste. I really enjoy him.
Yeah, he is good. Yeah.
He's very good and very intelligent kind of guy as well.
Yeah, very sharp. Yeah.
Similarly, but just in kind of a more light-hearted way, Mo Gilligan is really good. There was a program actually a little while ago. It was called Funny Black and British, I think.
Yeah.
And it was about how the kind of within the UK comedy scene, about how the black kind of circuit, as it were, was so super, super popular in a kind of packing out venues and those kind of ways, but then never like they even said like, no, you get one black person in the mainstream, like that's it, that's how it works.
On TV
so, like,
panel
if you were
shows and stuff. Yeah.
So if you were that one guy, it was great because you were just going to be and anything. So that was like a really good program, not just for informative purposes, but also getting to hear these comedians that I'd never heard of, and that was really, really fun. I like James Acaster. I saw him about 6 years ago and it just didn't really work at the time. But then watching him back later, then I was like, oh, okay, no, I really get this guy.
What about Americans? Do you guys know any? Do either of you know like anyone from the American comedy scene that you would say you like?
I mean, I specifically watched SNL the other week because it was Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
And he's brilliant. And I think his time, like, because he took quite a long time off. He was kind of out of the public spotlight for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just came back, and his style is kind of similar, but a bit more kind of refined. And so I really enjoy listening to him. I can't think of any specific American comedians. And I really like Jim Jeffries, the Australian comedian who went huge in America. All over.
Have I told you about that? I saw Jim Jeffries, it must be 15 years ago, playing in a little room in Scarborough. And a good 60% of his material was about hardcore pornography, and me and my mate were pissing ourselves because, being students at the time, we were connoisseurs of hardcore pornography,
vast quantities.
And I swear we were absolutely pissing ourselves, and a lot of these old boys in the Scarborough Comedy Club weren't particularly getting it, but I thought it was excellent.
Well, if either of you want an American recommendation, I would say Mike Birbiglia is probably the closest equivalent to James Acaster in terms of like American comedians. He's just a bit weird, very dry, very, very smart and funny. He has an older special called What I Should Have Said Was Nothing, where it's just like stories about like...
I think you've mentioned him before, yeah.
Oh, have I? Yeah. He's
yeah.
amazing. The whole bit is like telling stories, embarrassing stories.
Yeah.
Looking back, and like one of the repeating lines that he says in that one is like, "Oh no, I'm in the future too. I know." Like when the audience groans at like something stupid that he did. And where the name of the special comes from is he's telling a story about how he was moving into a place, and he's like super socially anxious, just like an awkward dude. And he was moving into an apartment building, and he had like left the key somewhere, but he was carrying a mattress. And a woman opened the door for him and was like, "Well, I know you live here because like you wouldn't be carrying a mattress if you were a murderer or a rapist." And he said, "You'd be surprised."
Yeah, I definitely remember you telling this before.
Yeah. And he's like, "What I should have said was nothing. What I did say was you'd be surprised."
Yeah, that's awful, yeah.
So check that out if you can find it.
I remember me and Finley actually watched one of your recommendations when we were doing Isolation Recommendation Station. And what was it? It was the two guys...
Middleditch and Schwartz, the improv special?
Yeah,
oh
really
my God.
good. They were really, really good.
Yeah, did you watch all 3 episodes?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Oh, it was so good.
I really liked it. They were just consistently tripping themselves up. It was just absolutely, really, really
good check
stuff.
that out. That's on Netflix if you guys want some comedy. It's not stand-up. It's like a... Improv thing. It's a long-form improv, so it's like an hour-long, like one scenario, and it gets super complicated, and they're so good at it. I don't even like improv, but that's a super good one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Right, and I think that about wraps it up for questions. So I think we've got to take the next instalment of the Bluffer.
Oh, we do. Yes, we do.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Looking forward to this. Oh, did you? Ha! Yes. So it is my turn to host Le Bluffer this week. This is the third one. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Am I winning 2-0?
2-0, yeah.
Is someone actually keeping score? Because we're going to lose track of this.
I've got a note on my phone.
Okay, great, okay.
Ian's got it written on the wall behind him.
Yeah.
I told you, he's vandalised his property. So I have 3 questions, 3 topics. We'll play all of them no matter what happens, but I'm going to try to... you'll pick a number and it will totally be different ones that you get. So 3 topics. 1 is geography, 1 is sport, and 1 is food. Ooh. So age before beauty, I guess. Ian, would you like topic 1, 2, or 3?
1, please.
1. Okay, so this one is, I've done these before, so it's a half American, half UK question. So I would like you, according to Statista.com, I have got the top 10 US states by population and the top 10 UK counties by population. So that leaves 20. Ian, how many can you name?
I will go with 6.
Opening bid of 6.
I'll go with 7.
Yeah, see, now the thought of this was, I reckon that Oscar could get all 10 of the US.
No, I don't think
then
so.
obviously it's the UK ones that he could slip up on.
Yeah, but I will struggle to get...
I don't even know UK counties, so...
Exactly. So Oscar went 7.
Yeah, I'll go 8.
Ian's going 8. So we're nearing 50%.
I'll go 9.
9. Ian, can you do 10?
I think I might bow out at 9. So I think I might. Yeah, Oscar, you got to name 9.
Okay, so Oscar, you need to name 9 of the top 10 US states, which I figure you're just going to go for that one, or any of the top 10 UK counties by population.
9 is probably the number I actually know. I'm glad you called me out there. So I'll start off with the states, and then I'm going to throw out, I think, 2 UK counties. One of them might not be a county.
Okay.
Let's go with the states, though. We got California, Texas, and New York.
Yes.
Are the 3 biggest?
So that is 1, 2, and 4.
4. Okay. Who else would be there? Chicago's a big city, so Illinois.
Illinois is 6th.
Oh, I still don't have the third one. Florida.
Florida is 3rd, yes.
So I have 6 now?
4. No, you've got 5. You've got 4 more to go.
Okay. Pennsylvania.
Yes, 6. So you've got the top 6.
Okay. This is where it starts getting dicier. I'm going to say Greater London. Is that a county?
Yes, that is the top one of the UK.
I'm going to say Manchester or Greater Manchester or something along those lines.
I'll give you that because it's Greater Manchester. If you'd have said Manchester, I would have asked for more. So yeah, that's 8. So you've got the top 6 US states, and you've got number 1 and number 3 for UK counties.
Okay, I don't know any more counties in the UK. Like there's a county that has Liverpool in it that probably is up there, but I don't know the name of the county.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to throw a state out there that I think, just from remembering like the Electoral College votes, because that is directly correlated to population, I'm going to go with Michigan.
Michigan is 10th.
Oh,
the list.
Oh my, that's close.
Snuck in there.
So that's what I kind of thought you base it on was the Electoral College. So the 3 you missed, 7, 8, and 9 were Ohio, Georgia, and North Carolina.
Wow.
And for UK counties, Ian, do you want to throw any out there?
Dunno. Kent?
Kent, yep. Kent is 5th.
Essex?
Essex is 7th. See, Oscar was on good logic here, where he was looking at big cities and then
that's definitely what I did.
Yorkshire?
Gonna need you to be more specific, but it's
North Yorkshire?
No. West Yorkshire and South Yorkshire were in there.
Okay.
Are the Midlands? Is the Midlands a county?
So it's West Midlands,
okay,
which would be, I'm pretty sure that's where Birmingham would be. Question mark.
Birmingham?
Yeah, I imagine so.
I'm from Birmingham.
Liverpool is Merseyside. Which would have been 9th in there. You could also have had Lancashire and that's it. Hampshire and Lancashire.
Okay. Well, I think I did. Yeah, I think I did the right thing. Cause I think I'd have lost it if I'd have gone for 10. So
there we go. So
well done, Oscar.
1 point to Oscar.
Yay.
So Oscar, you get to choose between number 2 and number 3.
Lucky number 3.
It's international break. So Gareth Southgate named a 25-man squad for this international break. How many of those players can you name? Now, this is based on the original posting. I don't know if there's been any changes due to injury, suspension, replacement players, those kind of things, because I can't be bothered to Google all that. So, how many can you name of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, 25.
3? I don't know who he took, if he made weird decisions. Like, I have 0% followed this, so... Ian, if you want to go bigger numbers, you're gonna get this category. Like, I'm not confident at all.
I'll take a jump up and go 6.
Oh, well, it's actually 30, so...
Okay.
So it just gets easier.
I'll say 7.
So Oscar's on 7, Ian, higher?
8.
Higher.
I'll go 9.
9. We're not even at a third yet.
10.
Yes.
11.
Yes.
12.
Oh, yes. Lucky 13.
13. I'm punting. I'm fully punting,
This is
hoping
the
that
thing, right? I'm pretty confident if I went 14, I'd answer. But what point you're going to let me go up to fucking 30?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to keep dragging you up for sure.
Exactly. Whereas if
Beatles
I call
songs.
you,
Beatles songs. Just say 30. Go.
Like I can name 30 English players that are like the 30 best-ish English players, but I don't know who fucking plays for the national
but
team.
the point is, if I get you to name 13, there's a chance you don't get it. So,
Oh, absolutely. I'm punting beyond like 3.
Yeah.
I remember reading tweets about 3 of them who made mistakes or something, and that's it. Like the
Only
rest are
3?
punts.
I think I want you to name 13.
Oh, fuck.
Oh.
I know I can do more, but I think this is the best way for me to get the point because you're just going to keep driving
This
me
is
up.
your strategy. This is what you do, man, and you're gonna win.
Very good.
Oh,
Okay, so
man.
Oscar, you need to name 13
Okay.
of the players.
All right, I'll start off with Jordan Pickford.
Jordan Pickford.
Oh shit. Kyle Walker,
Kyle Walker.
Mason Mount.
Mason Mount. First name on a team sheet. Mason Mount.
Those are the 3 I read tweets about, so the rest of these are a punt. I gotta get 10 that I'm hoping none of them happen to have missed out. Harry Kane.
Harold Kane. That is 4.
Raheem Sterling.
Raheem Sterling makes 5.
Harry Maguire.
Makes 6.
Chilwell.
7.
I don't know if he's injured or healthy, but Jordan Henderson.
Makes 8.
Okay.
Oh, getting twitchy now. You're doing
5 more. Yeah, Ian, you might have fucked this.
Wan Biz. Oh, fuck, motherfucker.
Yes.
God damn it.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I believe he is debating whether he's going to be selected for the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Okay.
Your arch nemesis.
Greenwood. I'll just rattle off some more that I would have said. Greenwood.
No, boo!
All right, there you go. I definitely would have lost this by far. Yeah.
So goalkeepers, you missed Dean Henderson and Nick Pope.
Okay.
Defenders, Trent Alexander-Arnold,
Oh,
Connor
duh.
Cody, Eric Dyer, Joe Gomez, Reece James, Michael Keane, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Tyrone Mings, Bukayo Saka, and Kieran Trippier. Midfielders, you could have had Phil Foden, Declan Rice, James Ward-Prowse, and Harry Winks. And forwards, Tammy
Grealish.
Abraham,
Grealish did a
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Jack Grealish, Dr. Marcus Rashford,
MBE.
MBE, Buckingham, and Jadon Sancho.
All right.
Oh, I'm so happy with how that went.
Beautiful. So it is 1 apiece, and we move on to almost by design. Number 3. It's almost like I rigged it. So, according to the very reliable website Taste Atlas, which has created a survey from the 25th of October 2020, I have got the 30 most popular food items around the world. Now, caveat, to be helpful, some of them, they were like one individual food item, so I got rid of. So, for example, starches, like rice isn't in there, potatoes isn't in there, spaghetti. So I took the logic that it would have to be something you would have to do to make into that would be a reasonable meal. Okay. I also got rid of milkshake, which was in there, because that's a drink. So it's actually the top 35, but you can only get points for 30 of them.
Right.
So,
0?
how many of the top 30 foods can you name, Ian Stimson?
I'm confused about what I can say here.
Yeah,
and what
very
I can't.
much.
I will. Don't
Very
get me
much.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. I will be very lenient.
But because you said like not individual items, like
So, for example,
rice,
like
I don't know whether you can say like cheese or.
Yeah, I will be lenient. So if you say something that's a cover-all term, but
Right.
there are specific items within it,
Okay.
I will tell you such.
Okay,
If you
okay.
give a specific example of something
Right.
which clearly fits into a category of a thing, I will give you the point, and I will
This
tell
is
you.
classic Bluffer fare. This is-
Yeah. Sandwich. I say sandwich.
Okay, well, is it me opening the bidding?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say 4.
5.
6.
Take it. I don't fucking believe this is way too hard of a question. I don't trust myself. I'm going to lose on the first one if I take this. 100%.
Okay.
Okay, so Ian named 6.
I'm confused, so I'm going to have to be guided. But
okay.
I'll say bread.
Right, no, that doesn't... No, that's
That doesn't
that's
fly.
the whole point. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Oh, God. I don't know.
These are like dishes. No, he doesn't lose.
Dishes,
I said I'd
right.
be fair. Yeah, so it's like dishes or thing or like...
Okay.
I'm extremely confused here, Ian, also. This is why I wanted nothing to do with this category.
Yeah. Okay. So, hamburger?
Hamburger.
Right.
Tick.
Okay.
One.
This might be too broad. Curry? Is that too broad?
Yeah, that's far too broad.
That's far too broad. Okay. Pizza.
Burger was the one answer I had also for the record.
Pizza was number 1 on this list. Also, I don't know the validity of any of this because it seems
that's
like
right.
weird.
You've said the source. That's fine.
Yeah. So pizza was 1, hamburger was 3.
Okay.
So you've got 2.
What's more popular than hamburger?
Spaghetti bolognese.
Yes, there is a... You're lucky, it's the very last one.
Is it?
And I will give it to you that it is a ragu alla bolognese.
Okay.
That is... Yeah, that's the last one you could have had. So you
Wow.
got 3, so you're halfway.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And you don't have the second most popular?
No.
What really obvious thing are you missing?
Yeah.
Why am I helping you? Fuck off. Good luck.
Because you're really curious into this.
Yeah, I'm really, really curious.
Chili con carne.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew you'd get yourself
Oscar
here.
gets the point.
Chicken fingers. Is chicken fingers number 2?
Chicken fingers is not... What? How American a specificity?
Oh, I
is
thought
chicken-
you could get that everywhere. Damn it. Chicken fingers.
Yeah, you
Never
can,
mind.
but that doesn't mean everyone eats it every day.
Yeah, go on then, Chuck. I'm really interested.
Okay, so the second one would have been sushi.
Fucking hell.
Duh.
4 was ramen. You had tacos. Then we moved down to tofu, croissants, cupcakes, tortillas, yakiniku, which is a Japanese barbecue, jiaozi, which is Chinese gyoza, dim sum, brownies, mousse, as in chocolate mousse, those kind of things, paella, mozzarella, a cheeseburger, American
that was
barbecue.
separate.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I said
Yeah, that seems like it shouldn't
hamburger.
be separate.
Well, American barbecue, cheddar, wagashi, which is
Cheddar.
Japanese sweets, macaroni cheese, yakitori, macaroons, a roti, risotto, feta, gyoza, and ragu alla bolognese.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Some of those seem obvious in retrospect, but
Yeah.
I there's no way you can get to 5 or 6 without saying something wrong.
Exactly. And then I got rid of rice, glass noodles, sashimi, spaghetti, udon, and milkshake.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
Why'd you get rid of sashimi?
And French fries. Because all that is just you just cut a fish and put it on a plate. That's it.
I guess. Tortillas was in there, though. Tortillas is like bread.
Look, what do you want from me?
Okay.
You said
I want my point. Thank you very much.
You would have some form of comeback to this if your one suggestion hadn't been chicken fingers. Oh, speaking of which, I got chicken fingers in the freezer.
That's lunch sorted.
That is lunch sorted. Thanks, mate. Okay, so congratulations. Who won? Oscar?
Oscar. Yep.
Yep.
2-1-0.
2-1-0. I'm the 2, Oscar's the 1, and Ian, reigning champion, Bluffmeister Bluff. Ian Simpson is in 3rd on 0. So that rounds up the big bulging mailbags that we brought to you this week. Christmassy mailbags. Maybe we'll do another one. Although there's no international break now until many ago. So
And lots of football.
speaking of football, Saturday, we're back. Boo, 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 boo. Opening with Newcastle Chelsea. Oh.
Yay!
Oh, Newcastle. No, that's a good game. I'm kidding. I jest. And of course, something we didn't mention is the pay-per-view games are now gone until the new year. So we can watch all the
Yay.
football again without paying 15 quid a pop.
Yeah. Some of it's on BBC as well.
Yeah? Oh, yeah. Well, Fulham Everton is, so...
Back to pay-per-view.
Yeah. Charge 15 quid for that, you sadists. Right, so anyway, 12:30 on Saturday. No early kickoff, no cheeky kickoff, no FPL fuckery. 12:30, Newcastle, Chelsea. Then we've got Aston Villa, Brighton, Spurs, Man City. Big game. Speaking of big game, bottom of the table clash: Man United versus West Brom. Then on Sunday,
to decide who's the worst out of those.
Yes, who gets the sack? It's one of them. Let's see if we can. Anyway, Job Centre: Fulham versus Everton. Although Everton now have their players back, so maybe they'll be good again.
Who knows?
Sheffield United versus West Ham, Leeds versus Arsenal, Liverpool, Leicester, and then on Monday, Burnley, Happy Place Turf Moor, Crystal Palace, and Wolves, Southampton. So quite a broad range. And there's some good fixtures in there. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. Spurs City is like two very good teams going at each other. I'm very curious to see how that goes. A real potential marker for either of those teams if they can get a big result.
Liverpool, Leicester, especially as now all of Liverpool's starting back four are injured.
Yeah, is Trent hurt now? Because he was on England duty, you just said. But I thought he was hurt.
Trent was injured before. He got a call up and then got injured. Robertson's now injured. Van Dijk is injured. Gomez is injured. Joel Matip is injured.
Matip as well.
Jamie Vardy's having a fucking party.
He could well be, yeah.
We'll get to see the power of their analytics team and what kind of like lower prospects they were able to scope out if they're any good. So that'll be interesting.
Do you not remember from last week the guy's name who you couldn't remember multiple
Phillips?
times?
Is it Phillips?
Well done.
Phillips and
yeah.
Well done. And who have Peterborough got this week? Top of the table, Peterborough?
Blackpool.
He's still top of the table?
We are, but it's teams have got games in hand on us now. We lost to Crewe at the weekend. They absolutely destroyed us. Classic, Ferguson gets manager of the month and then the next game we lose 2-0. So yeah, Blackpool next. And we've got to try and, solidify our place at top of the league because there's other teams snapping at our heels now.
Well, keep an eye on that one, listeners. And anyway, that about wraps us up for this week. So thank you very much for listening, enduring. The international break is over. Fear not. And delicious, delicious football is all back. Say goodbye, Oscar Puente.
That was a much better job wrapping up the podcast than we did last week.
Oh, I know. It made me realise finally what my value might be. Say goodbye, Lord Ian of Stimpleberries.
Toodle pip.
Toodle pip, and we'll see you. Don't see you fruit week, see you fruit window. Take care. Bye bye.